Three simple words kind of define what it is that we have to zero in on. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. Three simple words. Content is king. Let me say it again. Three simple words. Content is king. There was a time, not that long ago, where the success of the newspaper industry was defined exclusively with that ink on paper experience. That morning daily, at 5:30 thump on the doorstep, and for some folks, afternoon daily, they greeted you after work. There's now a realization that if we're to survive, and we will, but it's going to require adaptation, we have to do it in a different way. We have to be more of an all platforms approach. Spoon, how many times have we had time together with your staff talking about the fact, what are you doing for your readers today? And not just in print. What are we doing throughout the entire day with all different aspects? This is more than generating exclusive content. That content has to be essential. So our crying need right now, what I see is that there's a fancy with all things on the tech front. And we've taken our eye off the ball. The idea of essential content, that's what's king. And it comes at a time of unprecedented competition. From bloggers in their mom's basement, right? They've got an iPhone and they think they're a journalist, and guess what? They are. To media groups like Politico, who want to come in and just dominate the political scene. Al Jazeera, relatively new player here in the US that's really doing some amazing work. Even unsuspecting sites like TMZ, right? TMZ, known for all those celebrity quick videos, their persistent reporting has shaken the NFL to its core, to its very core. And because of the video that it had last week of Ray Rice and that elevator scene with his fiance, there's a very, very good chance that an NFL commissioner might lose his job. That's where we are today. Smartphones have made everyone a journalist, and it's more, again, than those dancing cat videos. I am proud, I'm very proud, despite those challenges, despite those changes, Register hasn't retreated. I'm very, very proud of that. We built, for example, a state-of-the-art video studio where we're producing as many as 12 shows a week on everything from entertainment to business to politics, all access, all digital, on demand. We're rolling out new apps and new partnerships, things that we'll talk about here in a minute or two. Next week, we're introducing a restructure in our newsroom that's going to add 5 new reporters to our staff and on the streets. Really an important time for all of us. The thing that I think is so critical here is that, Chris, where you are, where I am, across the state, we have to think about that consumer nonstop. It's an essential charge for any of us and in every media site. We can still do the high quality journalism that we're known for in a new era, a new environment. We got a really big kudo at the end of the political caucus cycle, last cycle in 2012. Amy Walter, who's the politics editor for ABC, who's a competitor of ours on the broadcast front. At the end of the caucus, she had a blog that talked about the top 5 winners and losers of the Iowa caucus. And she said, coming in number 2, right behind Rick Santorum and that sweater vest of his, if you remember 2012, was the Des Moines Register. And she said, the Des Moines Register proved that local papers can not only survive, but thrive. They combine good old-fashioned shoe leather reporting with an understanding and aptitude for the technical and digital world. When I took the reins of the publisher's job 13 months ago, my vision was a very simple one, and it continues today, and it's going to be elevated even more. We have to protect the content at all costs. If you are a student editor, if you're in the Greenlee School, if you're working for all media sites, you have to protect that content. It's the lifeblood of our success. It's a very, very simple formula, all right? I'm just a news guy, came up through the editing ranks, but I know how it works. That great content that we produce on all platforms generates a very engaged, passionate audience. It's that passionate audience that wants to align itself with that content. Those are the eyeballs that advertisers, the Hy-Vees, the Fairways, they want to align themselves with that content. It's imperative, and my advertising staff knows this, our entire news staff obviously knows it, our entire operation knows. Content is king. Wherever we are, wherever our readers are, we have to find them, and we have to make it easy so that that content intersects with their world. There are some in my business who have really ballyhooed the idea. Let's not talk about content. Let's talk about being digital first, right? That's what we have to be. We have to be a digital first operation. And some, unfortunately, have defined success by the number of Facebook friends they have. or the number of Twitter followers that they might have? And I would say yes. Yes, absolutely. We have to think and we have to own the digital space. We've got to live it, we've got to breathe it, we have to dominate it. But it doesn't mean a damn thing if you don't have great, powerful, accurate, balanced, contextual journalism that can be shared on all platforms. Content is essential to the community service that we are supposed to provide. It's our number one mission and it's our core to what we do. We have to make a difference in the place that we call home, and that content has to defend the First Amendment. It's non-negotiable. We won't survive without that great content. It's something that I think is very, very important for you to know. But great content alone cannot save the day. To me, when I reflect on all the interaction and my years of experience and where things are going, there are 5 really, really important trends that I see unfolding that frankly are giving me great confidence that there is a future, not only for full-blown media sites like the Register, and that also includes print newspapers, and to so many others across Iowa. So very quickly, 5 of them. Number 1, we're not as slow and clumsy and reluctant to embrace change as we once were. 15 years ago, in some pockets of my business, there was an arrogant belief by some that this newfangled World Wide Web, right, was a passing fad. And whenever the tech boom happened in the early 2000s, even greater affirmation, this was just a passing fancy. How could it ever still profit? How could it ever still business from the all-powerful morning daily? Has anyone seen Craigslist recently? Yeah, that's where my classified advertising has gone, so I'm very familiar with that. Publishers have had to make changes in their game. New rules were needed. And now we're talking in a different language in our advertising and our marketing staffs. We're talking about search campaigns and digital marketing. We're producing videos for advertisers and strategizing ways to help them grow their business through multi-platform strategies and campaigns. We are so much more than a 4x10 ad on page B4 of your morning newspaper. Search engine optimization, digital marketing, new ways to help readers grow and businesses grow. It's so important. That mindset has changed, and with it has come new analytics, where we are actually watching real time of what's unfolding for our readers and what it is that they're clicking on. It has meant new forms of storytelling, new structures, new strategies, new positions. And it's a willingness, I think, to leverage the skills of some non-traditional hires from never before needed areas or things that we didn't even really understand before. In March, we got some nice attention from editor and publisher that talked about there are 10 newsrooms around the country that were doing it right. And I was very, very proud of our staff. We were in one of them. They said that the Register has grown into a storytelling and reader-educated device. Reporters, editors, and videographers are stepping on camera and talking directly to readers and advertisers. It's the idea that we have to be more customer-facing than ever before. Number 2, when we're talking about what gives me hope, we're embracing, we're pursuing, we're developing, we're unveiling new technology and the ability to tell stories in new ways. I mentioned smartphones and that video function and how it's changing the entire landscape. I can tell you, if you haven't already noticed, that video is this new powerful storytelling medium, and we've got to deliver it. And I'll give you an example of the recognition and the transformation, speaking directly from the Register in our newsroom, in our shop. When I got there in 2011, we ended that year, we had produced as a staff about 585 videos, all right? Reporters with smartphones and photographers with cameras. And they generated about 741,000 video views. When we ended in 2013, our team had shot, produced, and posted 4,778 videos, all right? So we went from 582 videos, 4,778. And that number of videos in 2013 earned 2.4 million video views. So the audience is changing, right? We have to be in that space, we have to dominate it. This year we're on track to produce about 5,000 videos with an anticipated audience of about 4 million video views. Unbelievable transformation. To me, that speaks volumes. The other thing that spoke volumes is that on Saturday night in Minneapolis, the Register's multimedia staff won 3 regional Emmys. Our multimedia photographers, Dennis, you understand what this is about, shooting video that earned regional Emmys. Just an incredible transformation. So we are very, very happy with that. Third thing, new partnerships and relationships, sometimes with competitors. I'll give you 2 examples. On Sunday, September 28th, Register's tag team with KCCI. KCCI is one of the largest, if not the largest, CBS affiliate in the country. When it comes time to competitors, I worry about two. The time that readers have to spend time with the Register, but also KCCI. We're tag teaming with them on a debate, bringing the U.S. Senate candidates together, Bruce Braley, as well as Joni Ernst. We're doing some things that we've never done before with a competitor like KCCI. And later this week, next week at the latest, you'll hear about a new partnership that the Register is forming with a really high-powered national media company with roots in New York City, focused in on a passion topic that everybody in Iowa cares about. We're very excited about that. I don't want to show my cards too much, but again, thinking of new ways that we have to engage. The old days are gone. Structures have to change. Relationships have to change. We have to pursue new ways for us to reach readers. The fourth thing, why I feel confident about the future of newspapers. There's a newfound passion for innovation. New products that are going to ensure the intersection of readers' lives and great content can happen. And I'll give you a fantastic, exciting venture that we're getting ready to be part of. Next week, we're getting ready to roll out a 5-day series focusing on a family farm in Page County, Iowa. Now, it's a farm that's been in the family for generations, and it's one that talks about kind of an illustrative model of family dealing with aging and climate change, new conditions with globalization, genetically modified crops. Great story, right? Not necessarily a horribly surprising story. That's the kind of story you would expect to read in Iowa. But we've tag teamed over the past 4 months with some really bright digital minds at our corporate headquarters in McLean, Virginia. We went out and hired a gamer, literally folks who are specializing in the gaming industry, 360-degree videos as well. And we're creating a 3D game interaction and literally a 360-degree video that's going to accompany this. Oculus Rift, everybody familiar with Oculus Rift, right? The headset that you can go off and experience things in new ways. That's the technology that we're using for this. It's the first time that we've ever been able to do something, and we think it's the first in the industry. New innovation, that passion has got to fuel what it is that we become and where we're headed. The fifth and the final reason why I think that the future for newspapers is incredibly bright. We remain incredibly relevant. Relevance is the heart of what it is that we do. And at a time when news consumption and media consumption is soaring, there are more people consuming more news and more information from a multitude of sites than ever before. Newspapers, Sioux City, Quad City Times, Des Moines Register, becoming more and more relevant. Our mission is a public service, and I don't care what anybody says. I believe that no one can do it better than a newspaper. I believe that there's a great conviction for defending that First Amendment, for delivering the news that truly matters and makes a difference, and protecting the most vulnerable in our state. We've got to resolve this issue of folks prematurely writing our editorials and our obituaries, right? If you remember some folks, and if you haven't seen this movie on Netflix, you ought to even see it. 1976, great movie about broadcast journalism. It's called Network. One of the producers had a horrible day, right? Hairy, crazy scene, and he was upset. And he stands in the middle of the newsroom and he yells, "I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore," right? Well, there are days where that's how I feel. I'm so tired of reading about obituaries about the demise and the death of newspapers. There's a bright future. There's a great opportunity for us to be able to leverage our traditional skills and convictions in the defense of the First Amendment, protecting those who have no one else to protect them. We just have to do it in new ways. New structures, new technologies, new strategies. A chance for us to truly make a difference in a place that we call home. Because I don't think anybody can do it as well as we can. We're going to fight back. I believe in that. I refuse to believe and lament the demise of this great industry. I do. I'm not blind, though. I don't have a rearview mirror in my office. That's something I've told my staff repeatedly. I don't try to go back and rekindle all the days of the way it used to be. And when we used to have this and these resources. I can't live my life. I can't run an operation. I didn't as a news editor, and I certainly don't as a publisher. But I also know that we've lost a lot of friends in this business. Folks who have been longtime contributors, folks with great promise. I don't romanticize what it is that we're up against, but I miss my friends. I do, and it's been a difficult journey for anyone who's had to make some tough decisions about downsizing. Progress, as George Bernard Shaw spoke, is not easy. Reinvention comes with a heavy toll sometimes. And I think about good friends who are no longer in this business, or they have reinvented themselves and they've done other great things in their careers, and I'm very, very happy and proud of them, but I still miss them. Readers want results, okay? Readers want results. The technology, the demands of those many facets of life, of readers in which we serve, they have to change. We have to change. And we will. I promise you that. We will. A couple final points. I was driving home late last week. I think it was the same day that the president had his news conference, his announcement from the White House about what was unfolding in the Middle East. I was listening to NPR, and there was this fascinating interview with a guy named Dave, the most noted foreign correspondents of this country. He worked for the Boston Globe, Time Magazine, Washington Post, was in Vietnam at a time before a lot of correspondents were in Vietnam and things were really ugly there and violent. And he had unbelievable access to the battle scene and talking to the soldiers and painted a portrait that had been often ignored and just not understood by everybody back in the US. First TV war that we had seen. Greenway wrote a book, just came out. It's called Foreign Correspondent. And I've not yet read it. I've read about it, and I'm ready to get it. But I listened to him on NPR. And Greenway, a fantastic journalist by all accounts, was lamenting the newspaper industry in the glory days of what it used to be. And the fact that staffs aren't as large as what they once were, and budgets just aren't as ambitious as what they were. And the old cranky editor, his definition, I believe, is just not as present as what it used to be. And I'm driving home, and I'm thinking about tonight, I'll be real honest with you, thinking, man, this guy is just pressing the hell out of me. And I gotta get up and tell everybody, there's a bright future for newspapers, follow me, trust me. But as I was listening to this, and it was kind of on a downer, the host of the NPR show said, well, listen, David, it's been a pleasure having you. We've loved your stories. Looking forward to talking more about the book. We can continue this conversation online. We've got to end our show now, but if you want to go online and continue the conversation, go to our site. We'll talk a little bit more about it. Or you can follow us on Facebook, and here's our Twitter handle. And here are all the ways in which you can comment on the story and interact with us. And it hit me, right? It hit me. This is it. In a 30-second span, I'm hearing the wringing of hands, the lamentations of this great business of mine, and the NPR host says, wait, the conversation's going to continue, but just at a different platform. And it just crystallized for me. That is exactly what's unfolding. There is still a place. There will be a long-standing place for the print edition, the one that hits your doorstep bright and early in the morning. But we have to broaden the conversation, right? It's going to be something as complex as a watch on your wrist, or on Facebook, or on Twitter, and technology that we can't even envision yet. We have to be prepared for it. There's a role for it, and I'm convinced that newspapers are the right place to be able to get it done. It's easy for a journalist, particularly when you've been doing this as long as I have. I started when I was 14, back home. Been doing it for 35 years. Journalists, we're not good with math, but I'll let you figure out the age. It's easy for a long-time journalist to turn into a cynic. I'm not. I'm excited. I'm bullish. I'm really optimistic about the future. I want to be the guy in the train that's leading the change, as opposed to the poor sucker that's tied up on the railroads looking for the train to run over him. I don't have a place for that. I don't have patience for that. I have so many friends and so many colleagues and mentors who I respect so much that recognize the role that we play, the integral part of the fabric of America that newspapers play. Don't give up, hope for it. Those students who stood up, you're studying this, wonderful profession. You want to tell stories? You want to make a difference? Come talk to me. I'll find you a job. We'll figure out how to get you in this great fraternity. It's called newspapers. It's one that I believe in with my entire heart. I really, truly do. So I go back and end this story the way in which I started it. I don't have any regrets about where things were heading and the excitement and the future of it. I don't have regrets over my long career and what I hope is a continuation of it. Still a young guy, Spoon. I've still got some time. But I go back without one regret to the person I didn't get a chance to get her name. And I wish she could be here tonight. I really do. I think about New Virginia as I was planning this, and with apologies to the New York Sun in its famed editorial from 1897, yes, New Virginia, there is a future for newspapers, and it's a bright one. Thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.